Call this meeting to order. Tonight we're going to be led in the pledge by Mr. Mike Snell.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Snell. I'd like to welcome everybody tonight to the work session. I take it everybody's probably looked over the agenda, but does anybody have any questions in regards to the agenda? About consent agenda?
Lots of people will be happy to see that gym seating, won't they?
Yes, indeed.
That will be nice.
All right, if there's no further questions, Mr. Odom, let's go to number 9, I believe.
Okay, number 9, facilities. Blackman High School Eagle Scout project. Ms. Gail Vick has requested approval of a construction of a rugby storage building on Blackman High School campus by Scout Kay Hunter, a junior at Blackman High School, to fulfill his Eagle Scout requirements. The proposed storage building will be constructed beside the soccer storage building and built exactly like it. It will be wood construction and approximately 10 feet by 16 feet. It will be constructed at no cost to the Rutherford County Board. The motion will be to approve that at no cost to the board.
Anybody have any questions, comments? All right, B.
B is proposed greenhouse at Oakland High School. Mr. Bill Spurlock, principal of Oakland High School, has submitted a request for permission to construct a 28 feet by 48 feet greenhouse for use by the Agriculture Department. Proposed greenhouse would be constructed between the auto shop building and the existing special education greenhouse. Rutherford County Engineering and Construction Department has investigated the location. There's no trouble with gas, water, and electricity connections. All associated costs, including construction and local and state permits, will be paid by Oakland High School at no cost to the Rutherford County School Board. And that will be, the motion is to approve that through FFA club fundraisers.
Any comments?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What will this affect the special ed greenhouse funding? Because the special ed does their own, they raise the plants and they sell them. So will this greenhouse affect them, or are they going to be using this strictly as growing fish or what?
I think it's my understanding that the greenhouse is going to be plant growth and all again too for FFA, which they already do.
Well, but they do that in the special ed greenhouse, and that's that. What I'm saying is, will they be trying to have a spring plant sale along with the special ed plant sale?
Let's Joyce, make a note. I'll have to check and see.
I just took it as they're doing the expansion and they're just trying to grow more plants is what I took it. I'm not
Well,
sure.
because I know the ag department was supposed to work with the special ed students in the special ed greenhouse, so that way they'll understand how to work with special needs students out in the workforce and give them the opportunities. Will this be, because my biggest concern, will this be taken away from them and their opportunities, because that is that classroom's fundraiser.
I don't.
And if they're just going to do a plant sale, they can just do the fall. They're already doing mums and fall plants.
Just my personal feeling, Ms. Blankenship, I don't think Mr. Spurlock's going to do anything to take away from any of them. I mean, that's.
Well, yeah, I understand.
But if we need to, if it's, you know, if we need to, we can have him come tomorrow night, or, you know, anybody has any questions, contact Mr. Spurlock. Would you like him to come? I mean,
Just as long as yes, and just as long as I know what's going on, because I'm very concerned, because that greenhouse was set up because Oakland did not have a greenhouse. The ag mechanics program was making it with what they did in the shop. They have a wonderful ag mechanics shop if you've never been there. If they're not building stuff and making stuff out of there, they need to be doing that, because that's what that shop is there for.
mm-hmm.
I know where it's going. It's a little close to a building, but that's okay.
But also, I think this may have been donated, some of it may be donated or something along that lines too.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
I just know how, and I know greenhouse, where they're putting it, I also know that it could, if you've ever had to deal with a greenhouse, it's not gonna have the afternoon sun that it needs for the plants, because by the time 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, the sun's gonna be on top of that building.
The orientation.
Yeah.
Mr. Tackett?
You know, to kind of maybe take the other side of that a little bit, I'm not sure that anything that we build should be built strictly with the idea that we're going to allow somebody to use that as a fundraiser, and that's what we're doing, and surely that's not what special ed greenhouse was built for, was so that they could raise funds.
Well, they raise funds to replenish for the next year. That's what the funds are for. I mean, if you've ever gone over there and bought their plants.
Yeah, I bought them, like I said, I bought them in the past, but I don't think he's gonna do anything to jeopardize.
Well, I'd say this, Mr. Spurlock's going to be well aware that if that funding that is going to have to be supplemented some other way, it's going to come out of school funds. If they're not able to raise the funds are going to have to show up someplace along the line. So, I mean, it certainly helps the school if they can sell things and help that situation out. But if there's a loss there that they need to keep the program alive, it's going to have to come out of Oakland's funding. So I guess you know, take it out of Peter's pocket and put Paul's, but you know, I can't see how that.
I was just concerned because of the fact that I know where the building is going, and I know what that other greenhouse was done and what it was built for.
Did ARA funds build the original house for SPED? Jeff, do you remember?
I think so.
I think, because about the time we built it, I think was when the influx of funds came through
From the government.
ARA. But I think the greenhouse is paid for.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not sure how the other dividing and all, how that's done.
Mr. Holday?
I hope I'm not asking too much, and I know that we're packed this week with meetings back to back as we go through the week, but in the past, in these facilities updates, we've had, and maybe it's here and I'm not seeing it, but do we have tabs that show us the footprint? We do have that?
It does.
Site plan on there.
Okay,
It's one of the,
all right.
Yeah, it's between the auto shop building and the softball field.
I understand that, but to be able to see it, and now I found my way to the tabs. Thank you.
Anybody else?
we could even ask Mr. Spurlock or somebody from the FFA to come, if that's what you want.
I just as long as my question's answered, I no problem, because if they're gonna do fall sales, that's fine. But the other greenhouse needs to be used for the spring sales, so that way the monies will be split, because, I mean, you're talking, they could be doing the same things at the same time, and how they're gonna split the monies. I mean, I'm not asking, one person's gonna have to do one type of sales, and the other one's gonna have to do the other type of sales.
I really think our opportunity is just to take a look at the impact of the construction, and I think that that's been presented appropriately here. There may be some program questions that are reasonable that perhaps may be answered tomorrow night, you know, if they're needed. But as a board member, I'm satisfied with the explanation that's been given. Let the program be what takes place at the school. It may be beyond our scope.
What we'll do, if it's agreeable with everybody, Ms. Blankenship, won't you give Mr. Spurlock a call
Okay.
and see if your questions see if he answers all your questions, and then,
No problem.
I guess if not, bring them back tomorrow night, and, when we go over everything.
I'll call him too and try to see.
Okay.
what we need to do. Tomorrow, we'll give a call.
Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
All right, C.
C is Stewart's Creek High School baseball dugout. Dr. Clark Harrell has requested approval for construction of the extension of baseball dugouts and safety rails at Stewart's Creek High School baseball field. Stewart's Creek Baseball has been awarded a Richard Siegel Foundation grant to extend the existing dugouts and install a railing for added safety.
Any comments, questions? All right, I believe we'll probably skip number 10 tonight.
Unless you want to discuss what it is. This is our first group of people under tenure, under the new standard that a teacher has to have a 4 or a 5 the last 2 years, and that's their teacher effect score to do that, and they have to have the 5 years, 45 months within that 7-year period. And so this is the first group of teachers that meet that criteria. So that's what we're talking about.
Without suggesting in any way that the board would feel anything other than positive about this, is this an automatic granting of tenure, or, does the board have any leeway here?
I can tell you what Chuck Cagle told us at a meeting last week. He said that the director and the school board must concur. They had one case where the board wanted to pull somebody out, but he said if they've met the condition, that 4 or 5 teacher effect, they have the time in. He says you either got to grant them tenure or get rid of them. That's basically what he said to our whole group. Because, that's a privilege or something, but no one can grant tenure. The board has to take action on it. So it's not from state. Tenure is gained locally. If somebody comes into us from another school system, they'll not get tenure. Automatically. They have to go through that 2-year probationary period, and then you have to act on it, right, Paula?
If they come to us from another system,
Right.
they start all over and have to serve 5 years.
5 years to do that, okay.
If they leave us with tenure and come back, they serve a 2-year
2-year, that's right.
probationary period. And we have to reinstate. In fact, 2 of the names on this list are being reinstated.
A portion of my concern was we are outstanding and careful with the names when we're choosing not to extend contracts. Come to the board members in sealed envelopes. We get them ahead of time, but then it's very confidential and handled very appropriately. When I saw the names listed in the agenda so publicly, I thought, wow, is that the right way, or should these be dealt with, even though they're on the positive side of the equation, should they be dealt with the same kind of confidentiality? Probably not, if it's as automatic as we've been advised that it is.
Well, they are high-achieving teachers.
Absolutely,
For
sure.
your name to be there,
Yeah.
to be a 4 or 5, you've proven yourself, at least for the last 2 years of your 5 years, or if you're coming back, that you're a highly effective teacher. So
Okay.
it's kind of an honor, actually, in this
Sure.
case.
Mr. Turkett?
Given the small number compared to what it would typically be, I can recall a long time ago when I gained tenure, it was just kind of a rite of passage, and we went right on. These folks right here, only 11 at our system, need to throw party groups up, because this is a big deal at this point to get to that point. So congratulations are much in order, and I hope this board would never take action to not grant tenure to someone who has gained that eligibility. I think that would be, I cannot imagine what kind of a situation that would be.
Here's their issue. If they have 2 years of a 1 or a 2, they lose that tenure.
Sure.
Because these are all the new model people. So tenure is no longer a permanent grant for you. So, it's as long as you can maintain the high performance.
Anybody else? Number 11, policy manual review. Anybody have any questions in regards to any of that? I think Ms. McLeod's going to schedule some meeting first week of November,
Correct.
correct? I just got with Ms. Michaels and basically just designated November, February, May, and August for our 4 meetings for this year. So if anybody has any comments or anything regards to these policies, feel free to bring them up tonight or tomorrow if you want to. All right, if nothing else, let's go to number 12, Mr. Odom.
Number 12 is an information only. It's an insurance update again, which is very similar to what you saw before. The insurance department has clarified that the 2014 wellness upcharge for employees will be a total of $250 or $31.25 for 8 months for Board of Education employees. It was $25 for 10 months for other county employees. The wellness upcharge will begin in March 2014. Employees can avoid paying this upcharge by getting a biometric screening that includes a lipid panel, CPT code 861, which measures your LDL, HDL, triglycerides, and total cholesterol by February 17, 2014. And then a biometric screening lab test done earlier in 2013 that included the CPT 861 will count for this requirement. These employees should contact their personal physicians to confirm they had this test and that CPT 861 was used. And Ms. Barnes has sent this out earlier to all of our employees. It's been communicated, I guess, multiple times, but they basically have until February for this to be done communicating. I asked Ms. Barnes and Mr. Sandvik today, the next meeting of the insurance committee is next week, but neither of them have gotten an agenda. Have y'all received an agenda? Because she was going to send it to you. Have any of you
Nothing yet.
received one yet?
Got notice of the meeting, but nothing.
We have not, I have not received, none of us have received the agenda items at this point.
Any questions? 13.
13 is the 6th grade curriculum, and this was in relation to the 6th grade textbook, Treating of the World's Major Religions. And so that, we've also scanned that in for you to look it over. The first page is basically what it says on the first page is that we're asking teachers not to go to the internet, other sources, use the textbook, stay relatively closely with that textbook. And then if you remember also, the other pages that you have is really the state standards that we have to cover. I mean, that's what will have to be covered for those students. So that's the kind of the middle pages. The last page was the one that the group said last year, if you remember they spoke, they liked the chart that was a comparative religion chart that took each of the major religions and then labeled what would go in those blocks for that. So possible entries for those comparative things are listed in that chart. And this is what we will be distributing to principals and all. Actually, there's a middle school principals meeting tomorrow. So we'll be taking this basically to them to try to see that everybody's on the same page and doing these same activities, basically what it is. But it's there for everybody to see now because we did scan it on to this. So look it over. Let us know if you see anything in it or any other action you'd like for us to take.
All right, number 14.
14 is the, I guess the REA group asked us, Collaborative Conferencing Committee's information only. Pursuant to section 49.5-605, the professional educator organization is required to appoint their own management personnel to serve on the committee. And the professional educators serving on the Collaborative Conferencing Committee for the professional educator organization is Emily Mitchell, Derek Bowman, Sandra Magoo, Regina Harvey, Alan Nichols, Carol Hawkins, and Jim Gifford. And we don't have any
Right, so.
authority really of that. It's just the announcement who will serve on that.
All right, 15.
15 is board appointments, and this may be some appointments that you made, I
That's
think,
correct.
here.
Yeah.
The Federal Relations Network, FRN representative, board member will be Mr. Aaron Holliday. And the Tennessee Legislative Network, TLN representative, will be board member Wayne Blair.
Just a comment on that. Normally, the vice chair basically serves these capacity. I think Mr. Blair's did it several years now. Mr. Holliday had interest on doing the federal part of it, and so basically, Mr. Blair and Mr. Holliday agreed to split it up, and Mr. Holliday, he'll travel out of state, and Mr. Blair will stay in state. So
Yes, sir.
I just appreciate both of you doing it.
Yes, sir.
I think it's good that we have a board, not only on state level, but also federal level, keep us aware of what's going on too. So I appreciate both of you agreeing to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
16, general discussion.
Let me bring up for the board, reminder, or make sure that you're aware, at 2:30 on Monday here in this boardroom, the charter school application will be reviewed by the state. Gone through the process as a committee. It was denied, appealed, denied, and you've taken action as a board on that each time. Lawfully, they're allowed to then appeal to the state, which they've done. The state has set that meeting for 2:30 on Monday here in the boardroom. So at that point in time, we'll go through the process with the state folks, and we expect that within a few days, we'll hear some type of result from that, I assume. Do we know? How long do we expect the state would then take after we have this meeting on Monday before they'll make some kind of decision?
I'm sorry, I have to go back and read.
That's okay.
It said within 10 days. I think
That's what I remember you saying, something in 7 to 10 days, something like that time period. Of course, at that point in time, it is what it is, you know, it's there. So the committee has met again to kind of put a good organizational plan together for what we need to present to the state, and we'll see how it goes.
Does the state board have to act on that, Angel?
Yes.
And I think they have a conference call-in before the end of September. I think their next meeting may be a telephone one or something.
My understanding from the attorney for the state was that they would have the hearing, make a recommendation, and then the decision would be made at their next meeting, which was either within the same week or the next week.
I think it's September 25th, but I'm not positive about the date, so I think you may get it fairly quickly.
I guess the good news in this whole thing is we've been able to go through this entire exercise. And so the next time a charter school application is brought in, we'll have it gone through the entire gamut of this, and we'll see how it lands.
I was contacted today about us, a school system participating in the MTSU True Blue Day, October the 4th. And so we're happy as a school system, I think, unless somebody objects to, we'll send that information, some posters out that if students and staff and I would like to dress in True Blue for that day on October the 4th, then we're communicating that with the schools.
I suspect we'll be doing it on the 5th also.
The 4th is that Friday, and the 5th is the game,
Yes, sir.
and homecoming.
Mr. Holliday?
Mr. Odom sent out a letter this week concerning our participation in the Expect More, Achieve More Association, and highlighting the state Senate's Education Committee hearings September 19th and 20th on Common Core. And I want to thank Mr. Odom for raising that to our attention, and again applaud our participation in an organization that is impacting and affecting and continuing to shape how Common Core helps us to achieve really excellent academic results.
2 days of hearings, they've got it scripted, basically who comes in and speaks. There's different groups that will come in and actually address them, read parts of standards and that sort of thing. But it's 2 full days for that to happen.
Anybody else?
we have a retreat on Saturday, right?
Yes, sir.
Do we have an agenda for that yet?
She is sending it out tomorrow, I think.
Oh, great, okay.
She'll send that out tomorrow. Anybody else? If there's nothing else, we're adjourned, and we'll see everybody tomorrow at 5.